Chosen one, why does it feel like you've been abandoned when you were actually being prepared? Why does everyone around you seem blessed while you've been buried in the wilderness? Why has God been silent for so long that you've started to question if He even remembers your name? Listen to me very carefully, chosen one. Heaven just paused your timeline. Right now, this exact second, there is a countdown clock ticking over your life. Not a curse, not a threat, but a rescue window. And you've got 21 minutes to answer the call before this portal closes and you spend another season wondering why nothing's changing. I need you to understand something that's gonna shake you. When heaven opens a door, it never stays open long. 21 minutes, that's the window between your breakthrough and your breakdown. Between divine intervention and another year of the same pain, the same loneliness, the same regret eating at you in the dark. You feel forgotten. I know. You look around and see people half as faithful getting twice the blessing. You're aging. You're tired. You've been praying the same prayers so long they taste like dust in your mouth. And the enemy whispers, God moved on without you. But here's what hell doesn't want you to know. You weren't forgotten. You were filed. Heaven has issued a rescue order with your name written in light. The courts of glory have been processing your case. And the reason it took this long is because what God's about to release into your life is so massive, so supernatural, so dangerous to the kingdom of darkness, that it required this exact amount of preparation. Before this message ends, you're going to understand why God waited until now, why He let you go through hell, why He chose you for this assignment, and why out of millions of people scrolling right now you are hearing this. This is not a coincidence. This is an appointment. Your name is being spoken in the courts of light. Angels are being dispatched. Demonic assignments against your destiny are being revoked as you listen. And I want to say thank you. Thank you to every single soul who's supported this message through super thanks. You're not just giving, you're sowing seeds into a harvest that's feeding people you'll never meet, people sitting in the dark right now thinking nobody cares. Whether you give or not, I'm grateful for your time, your presence, your faith. If your spirit feels this tug right now, if something inside you just woke up, type, I'm listening in the comments. Don't break the divine chain. Let heaven know you're awake. The clock is ticking, and rescue is closer than you think. Why do you wake up at 3 a.m. with that heaviness pressing down on your chest like a stone? Why does the silence in your house feel louder than it ever did when your kids were young? Why, after all these years of faithfulness, does it feel like God stopped paying attention right when you need Him most? Let me tell you something they don't preach in church anymore. That weight you've been carrying, that's not just getting old, that's not just loneliness. That pressure in your chest at night when you can't sleep, when you're staring at the ceiling wondering if anyone would even notice if you were gone tomorrow, that wasn't depression. That was heaven leaning closer. You thought God was silent. He was studying you. Listen, I know what you're carrying. I see you. You wake up and the first thing you do is count your pills. 7 different bottles lined up on the counter like soldiers. High blood pressure, cholesterol, the one for your heart that costs more than your grocery bill. You look in the mirror and you don't recognize the person staring back. When did you get so old? When did your hands start shaking like that? Your kids? They call on holidays. Maybe. They've got their own lives now, their own problems, and somehow you went from being the center of their world to being an obligation they check off a list. Yeah, I called Mom. You raised them. You sacrificed everything. And now you sit in a house full of memories and empty rooms, and the silence is so thick you can taste it. Money's tight. It's always tight now. Social security doesn't stretch like it used to. You're doing math in the grocery store, putting things back, choosing between the medication and the heating bill. And you're tired. God, you're so tired. Not just physically, though, your bones ache in ways they never used to, but soul-tired, exhausted from hoping, worn out from praying prayers that seem to bounce off the ceiling. You lie awake in those long nights, and the darkness feels personal, like it's mocking you. And the enemy whispers his favorite lie: God forgot about you. You're too old, too broken, too late. But here's what I need you to hear with every fiber of your being. That heaviness wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Every sleepless night, God was downloading something into your spirit that you couldn't receive in the daytime noise. Every moment of isolation, heaven was separating you from the crowd, because what's coming next requires you to stand alone. Every financial struggle, every health scare, every time your children forgot to call, those weren't signs that God abandoned you. They were signals that He was refining you. The Bible says in Job 23:10, "But He knows the way that I take. When He has tested me, I shall come forth as gold." You thought you were being buried. You were being planted. You thought you were forgotten. You were being positioned. You thought God was silent. He was studying you. There is one reason why the storms grew stronger as you got older. Stay with me, because this is the key that unlocks everything. Hell only attacks what heaven anoints. Your struggle was the proof of your calling. Think about it. Why would the enemy invest decades of warfare against someone who doesn't matter? Why would darkness spend years trying to convince you that you're worthless, forgotten, too old, too damaged, unless you carried something that terrifies the pit of hell itself? The devil doesn't waste ammunition on empty targets. Every battle you survived, and you're still here. So you survived them all. Every betrayal, every loss, every midnight hour when you wanted to quit, but something inside you wouldn't let you. Those weren't random. You were being forged, strengthened, tested for a weight of glory so heavy that if God had given it to you back when life was easy, it would have destroyed you. Isaiah 43:2 says, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow you." Not if, when. Because the chosen ones always go through the flood, and you're still standing, soaked, scarred, but standing. That weight on your chest, that was God pressing closer, whispering, "Not yet, hold on, I'm coming." You thought you were being punished for something you did wrong, but God was protecting something He was getting ready to do right. The isolation wasn't rejection, it was divine separation. He pulled you away from the crowd because crowds can't carry what He's about to release. The silence wasn't abandonment, it was the sound of heaven holding its breath before the shout. You weren't being overlooked, you were being overshadowed by the Almighty. And now, right now, in this exact moment, the rescue order has been filed. The courts of heaven have processed your case. The angels assigned to your breakthrough have been dispatched. And that 21-minute window? It's already open. But here's what you need to understand. This isn't just about relief. This isn't just about your bills getting paid, or your health improving, or your kids finally calling. This is about destiny, about a divine assignment that's been waiting for you to be ready. And you're ready now, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. If this feels like your story, if every word I've spoken has been pulling something awake inside your chest, tap the like button right now as your first act of agreement. Let heaven know you're still in the fight, because chosen one, your rescue isn't coming someday. It's already in motion. Now let me tell you something that's gonna rip the veil off everything you thought you knew about timing. Every chosen one, and I mean every single one, receives a moment, a narrow moment, a razor-thin window where heaven leans in close and asks for a response. Not tomorrow, not when you're ready, not when it makes sense. Right now. And most people? They miss it. They're so busy waiting for the perfect moment that they don't recognize the appointed moment standing right in front of them. You see, the 21-minute window isn't just some poetic metaphor I pulled out of thin air. It's a divine pattern woven all through Scripture. It's the test heaven gives to separate the willing from the waiting, the obedient from the hesitant, the rescued from the religious. Look at Abraham, Genesis 22. God said, "Take your son, your only son Isaac, and offer him." And the Bible says Abraham rose early the next morning. He didn't call a committee meeting, didn't sleep on it, didn't wait for a second confirmation. Heaven spoke, Abraham moved. That instant obedience unlocked a blessing so massive, it's still echoing through every generation on earth. But here's what wrecks most people. Delayed obedience is just disobedience in slow motion. You think you're being wise, you think you're being careful, but what you're really doing is talking yourself out of the very miracle you've been crying for. You're letting fear dress up as wisdom. You're letting doubt put on the costume of discernment. Moses stood in front of a burning bush that wasn't being consumed. Exodus 3:3 says he turned aside to see it. He could have kept walking. He could have said, "That's interesting, I'll come back later." But he didn't. He stopped. He responded to the mystery. And that one turn, that single moment of curiosity meeting obedience, launched him into his destiny as the deliverer of an entire nation. Peter was sitting in a boat. Matthew 14. The storm was raging, the waves were crashing, and Jesus showed up, walking on water, doing the impossible right in front of terrified men. And Peter said 5 words that changed his entire trajectory. "Lord, bid me come." He didn't wait for the storm to calm down first. He didn't wait until he felt brave. He stepped out while the wind was still screaming, while the boat was still rocking, while every logical bone in his body was yelling, "Don't you dare." And you know what happened? He walked on water. Not because he was special, not because he had more faith than the others, but because when heaven opened a window, he climbed through it. Now, here's the part that's going to shake you to your core. What if the miracle you've been praying for your entire life is one yes away? What if the reason nothing's changed yet isn't because God's testing your patience, it's because He's been waiting for your response? What if heaven's been holding a door open and you keep walking past it because it doesn't look like you thought it would? Let me be real with you for a second. You've been in the wilderness so long you've gotten comfortable with the dust. You've been disappointed so many times you've started building walls around your hope. You've been hurt so deeply that now you second-guess every divine invitation because you're terrified of being let down again. But listen to me, that's exactly what the enemy wants. He wants you paralyzed. He wants you stuck in analysis. He wants you so afraid of making the wrong move that you don't make any move. Because he knows, hell knows, that the moment you step into obedience, the moment you answer heaven's call, the moment you stop hesitating and start moving, everything shifts. The 21-minute window isn't about literal time. It's about kairos, God's appointed time. It's that sacred moment when the natural and the supernatural collide, when heaven's agenda intersects with earth's timeline, when what you've been believing for suddenly becomes accessible. And right now, your window is open. You feel it, don't you? That tug in your spirit, that unexplainable knowing, that sense that something's different about this message. That's not emotion, that's not hype. That's the Holy Spirit confirming what heaven's been trying to tell you. Your rescue is here. But rescue requires response. God is not asking you to have it all figured out. He's not demanding that you be perfect or polished or problem-free. He's simply asking, will you answer? Will you step when He says step? Will you move when He says move? Will you trust Him in the narrow window even when your mind can't map out the entire journey? Because here's the devastating truth. Nobody talks about delayed obedience doesn't just postpone your breakthrough. It kills your destiny. Every day you wait is another day the enemy gets to build a case against you. Every moment you hesitate is another opportunity for doubt to dig its roots deeper. And you'll see in just a moment why your window is open right now, why this isn't random, why heaven orchestrated every single thing in your life to bring you to this exact second. If you're ready, if something inside you just stood up and said, "Yes, I'm done waiting. I need you to do something," type 21 inches the comments right now. Not later, not after you think about it. Right now. It's symbolic. It's your spirit answering before your fear gets a vote. It's you telling heaven, "I'm climbing through this window," because God is about to rescue you. But you've only got 21 minutes to answer. Do you remember when life was simpler? When you knew your neighbors by name? When Sunday meant church and family dinner, not scrolling through a phone full of strangers? When your body didn't ache every morning? When you had purpose burning so bright in your chest you couldn't sleep at night? Do you ever feel like the world sped up and left you behind? You're not imagining it, chosen one. While everyone else seems to be moving forward, getting promoted, getting married, getting blessed, you've been standing still, watching, waiting, wondering if God forgot to write your name on the invitation list to the next season. Let me tell you something that's going to shake the fog off your soul. Sometimes God freezes a season to fix what you cannot see. You think you're stuck. You think you're being punished. You look at your life, the same four walls, the same struggles, the same prayers you've been whispering for years, and you wonder if heaven is even listening anymore. The bills didn't stop. The loneliness didn't lift. The pain in your joints reminds you every single morning that time is running out. And the enemy loves this. He loves watching you spiral into doubt. He whispers, "Look at you. You gave God your best years, and what did you get? Nothing. You're too old now, too tired, too forgotten." But here's what hell will never tell you. You are not stuck. You are being staged. God doesn't pause timelines by accident. He doesn't freeze seasons because he's distracted or indifferent. When heaven stops the clock on your life, it's because the Almighty is orchestrating something so precise, so powerful, so perfectly timed that rushing it would destroy it. Look at Abraham, 75 years old when God called him, 100 when Isaac was born. The world said, "You're too old." Hell said, "You missed your window." But heaven said, "Now, right now is when the promise comes alive." Look at Moses, 80 years old, 80 when God met him at the burning bush and said, "Now you're ready. Now I can use you." 40 years in the palace, learning leadership. 40 years in the desert, learning humility. 80 years of preparation for a deliverance that would echo through eternity. You think God wasted those years? You think heaven was silent because it didn't care? No. Heaven was building you. Every disappointment was a demolition. Every delay was a divine setup. Every year you spent in the wilderness wasn't punishment. It was preparation for a rescue so massive that if it came any earlier, you wouldn't have been able to carry it. And I need you to hear this. The reason you feel stuck right now is because you're standing on a launch pad, not a dead end. God has paused your timeline for a reason. And it's not the reason you think, you thought. He paused it because you failed, because you weren't good enough, because you sinned too much, or prayed too little, or didn't have enough faith. But the truth that's going to set your spirit on fire, is that heaven paused your life because what's coming next requires divine timing, not human hustle. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." Not your time, heaven's time. And when heaven's clock says it's time, hell itself cannot stop what God has already set in motion. Think about this. A seed doesn't grow because it's in a hurry. It grows because it's planted in the right soil, at the right depth, in the right season. You rush it, you kill it, you doubt it, you dig it up, but you trust the process? You water it with faith even when you see nothing? That's when the breakthrough comes. You've been watering in the dark, chosen one. You've been faithful when nobody was watching. You've been praying when your own voice sounded hollow. You've been standing when everything in you wanted to fall. And heaven has been taking notes. Every tear you cried in secret bottled. Every prayer you whispered in doubt recorded. Every night you went to bed feeling forgotten, God was right there in the room with you, saying, "Hold on, just a little longer. What I'm building for you is worth the wait. You are not too old. You are not too late. You are not forgotten. You are being positioned for the greatest rescue of your life." And the reason it's taking this long is because this isn't just about you. It's about everyone watching you. Everyone who's going to see what God does in your winter season and realize that heaven never abandons its chosen ones. The world told you to retire, to settle, to accept that your best years are behind you. But God is about to prove that your greatest chapter hasn't even started yet. So let me ask you this, and I want you to answer in your spirit. What if the very thing that made you feel abandoned was actually the thing that made you dangerous to the kingdom of darkness? Because here's the truth they don't want you to know. When God rescues you from a frozen season, He doesn't just restart your life, He catapults it. Now let me tell you something that's gonna crack you wide open. You think you're falling apart. You think God abandoned you in the middle of your darkest hour. You think all this pain, all this suffering, all these sleepless nights crying into your pillow when nobody's watching, you think it means you're broken. But heaven sees it differently. There's an ancient truth carved into the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 3. He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. You know what that means? God doesn't throw you into the fire to destroy you. He puts you in the flame to reveal what you really are. Fire does not destroy gold, it reveals it. Every impurity burns away, every false identity, every lie the enemy planted in your mind about who you are and what you're worth. The fire doesn't break you down, it strips away everything that was never really you in the first place. And I know what you've been through. Don't tell me I don't know. I know about those nights you cried alone in the dark, when the weight on your chest was so heavy you could barely breathe, when you begged God to just let you sleep and not wake up because facing another day felt impossible. I know about the family betrayal, the ones who were supposed to love you, protect you, stand by you, and they turned their backs when you needed them most. They called you crazy, they called you too much, they made you feel like a burden for simply existing. I know about the sickness you've been hiding, the pain in your body that nobody sees because you smile through it. The diagnosis you haven't told anyone about because you don't want to be pitied, you don't want to be the one everyone has to take care of. I know about the fear, the terror that you've become irrelevant, that your best years are behind you, that God used you once, but now you're just forgotten, put on a shelf, waiting to die. But listen to me very carefully. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. What you thought was your ending was actually your excavation. God has been digging out the real you, the you that religion couldn't touch, that trauma couldn't kill, that hell itself couldn't extinguish. The you that's been buried under decades of other people's expectations, other people's definitions, other people's limitations. 1 Peter 1-7 says it plain. These trials will show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold. You were never supposed to stay comfortable. You were never supposed to blend in with the crowd, living a safe little life that requires no faith. You were marked. You were chosen. And chosen ones don't get gentle preparation. They get the kind of pressure that turns coal into diamonds. Every betrayal was removing someone who would have held you back from your next level. Every loss was clearing space for something greater. Every closed door was heaven redirecting you away from a trap you couldn't see. You thought you were being punished, but you were being prepared. And here's the part the enemy desperately doesn't want you to understand. What comes next is the part you were never supposed to face alone. God didn't bring you through hell just to abandon you at the finish line. He's been with you every single step. In the fire, in the valley, in the silence that felt like rejection. Isaiah 43:2 declares, "When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. You're still here. You're still breathing. You're still fighting." That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's supernatural preservation. That's God saying, "Not yet. I'm not done with you. Your story isn't over. In fact, the best part hasn't even started. Your breaking point was heaven's turning point. The moment you thought you couldn't take one more second, that was the exact moment the rescue order was filed. The moment your name was moved to the top of heaven's priority list. The moment angels were dispatched with instructions. Go get them, bring them home. It's time. You want to know why you're still here after everything you've been through. You want to know why you survived, what should have killed you, why you're watching this message right now, at this exact moment in your life. Because heaven is not done with you. The refining fire didn't consume you, it revealed you. And what God is about to release into your life requires the version of you that only fire could create. The unshakable you. The unstoppable you. The you that's been tested, proven, purified, and found genuine. If this touched something deep in your spirit, if you felt the weight of these words settle into your bones, I need you to do something. Share this message. Don't keep it to yourself. There's another chosen one sitting in the dark right now, thinking they're alone, thinking nobody understands, thinking God forgot them. Let them know they're not forgotten. Let them know the fire isn't the end. It's the beginning. And what's about to happen next will blow your mind. You want to know why now? Why, after all these years of silence, after all those nights you cried yourself to sleep begging God to move, why is He showing up today? Because, chosen one, there has been a shift in the spiritual realm that you cannot see with natural eyes. 3 days ago, heaven convened a council. Your name was read aloud. The accusations against you, every lie the enemy filed, every delay he orchestrated, every door he slammed in your face, they were all reviewed, and one by one, they were overruled. The angels assigned to your life have been in a holding pattern, waiting for divine clearance. They've been watching you suffer, watching you break, watching you question everything, and they were under strict orders not to intervene. Not yet. Not until the preparation was complete. Not until you were strong enough to carry what's coming. But that order just changed. Right now, there are angelic forces being deployed over your household. Battles you didn't even know were happening have already been won. Generational curses you've been fighting your whole life, they're being dissolved as you listen to this. Demonic assignments that had legal access to your bloodline are being revoked by the courts of heaven. You've been living in a war zone, and you didn't even know the war was about you. Isaiah 43:19 says, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? Do you feel it? That strange stirring in your chest. That's not anxiety. That's not fear. That's your spirit recognizing the sound of heaven's cavalry arriving. God is not sending a boat, dear one. He is not dispatching a rescue team. He is pulling you out Himself with His own hands. Because what you've been through wasn't just a trial, it was an initiation. And only those who survive the wilderness get to enter the promise. Let me tell you how you'll know the rescue has begun. You're going to feel a sudden, unexplainable peace. Not because your circumstances changed, not because the bills got paid or the diagnosis got reversed, but because something inside you just settled. Like a war you've been fighting finally declared a ceasefire. You're going to experience unexpected clarity. Decisions that tortured you for months will suddenly become obvious. paths that seemed impossible will open with zero resistance. You'll know exactly what to do, exactly where to go, exactly who to trust, and it won't be because you figured it out. It'll be because the mind of Christ just downloaded into your spirit. And here's the part that's going to shock you. People are going to start exiting your life. Not because you pushed them away, not because you changed, but because they were never meant to go where you're going. God is clearing the room. He's removing every distraction, every toxic voice, every relationship that was draining the anointing He's about to release. Doors will align without force. Opportunities will appear out of nowhere. Provision will show up from directions you never thought to look. And you'll realize this isn't luck. This isn't coincidence. This is divine orchestration. Psalm 18:16 says, "He sent from on high, He took me, He drew me out of many waters." You've been drowning, haven't you? Drowning in debt, drowning in sickness, drowning in loneliness so thick it feels like you're breathing underwater. But God just reached into the deep and grabbed you by the collar. The rescue is not coming. The rescue is here. But listen to me very carefully, because this is where most people miss it. There is one decision you must make before the 21-minute window closes. One choice that will determine whether you step into this new season or stay stuck in the wreckage of the old one. You ready? God cannot rescue someone who is unwilling to leave where they drowned. Read that again. Let it sink in. He can open the door. He can clear the path. He can send the angels. But if you refuse to get up, if you refuse to let go of the familiar pain, the comfortable dysfunction, the identity you built around your suffering, then the rescue dies at your feet. How many of you have been praying for deliverance while still holding on to the very thing that's killing you? How many of you want the new life but refuse to bury the old one? How many of you are begging God to move you forward while your hands are still gripping the past? You cannot be rescued and remain the same. You cannot enter the promise and bring Egypt with you. You cannot step into your destiny while dragging your trauma like a security blanket. God is extending His hand, but you have to let go of what you're holding to grab it. The question is not whether God is willing to save you. He already decided that before you were born. The question is, are you willing to be saved? Are you willing to leave the version of yourself that got comfortable in the pit? Are you willing to walk away from the people, the places, the patterns that feel like home but function like a prison? Because, chosen one, the clock is ticking, and rescue has an expiration date. So what's it gonna be? So, here we are, chosen one. 21 minutes have passed. The message has been delivered. Heaven's rescue order has your name on it. Angels have been dispatched. The door is open wide. And now it all comes down to one single question that will define the rest of your life. Will you answer? Because let me tell you something that's gonna cut deep. You've been standing at this crossroads your entire life, and every single day you've been choosing. You just didn't know the stakes were this high. On one side, there's comfort, the familiar, the safe, the life you know, even if it's killing you slowly. Even if you wake up every morning with that hollow ache in your chest wondering, is this all there is? Even if you're surrounded by people but dying of loneliness. Even if your gifts are rotting inside you while you play it safe. Comfort whispers, stay here, don't risk it. You're too old, you're too late. God's rescue is for somebody else. On the other side, there's your calling. The life God wrote for you before you took your first breath. The destiny that's been hunting you down through every closed door, every betrayal, every dark night of the soul. Your calling doesn't whisper, it roars, and it's saying, I've been waiting for you. Everything you've survived was preparation, and the best years, they're not behind you, they're about to begin. One side is fear, the other is faith. One side is who you've been, the other is who you were created to be. And right now, right this second, you have to choose. Listen to what Scripture says in Joshua 24:15. Choose you this day whom you will serve, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when the circumstances line up perfect, this day, because heaven operates on divine timing, and that timing is now. You want to know why God's rescue feels so urgent? Because the enemy knows what's about to happen. He knows that the moment you say yes to God's calling, everything shifts. Generational curses break, financial droughts end, sickness loses its grip, relationships get restored, the gifts you buried come roaring back to life, and suddenly, you're not the victim anymore. You're the weapon God uses to tear down the gates of hell. That's why the resistance has been so heavy. That's why you've felt attacked from every angle. That's why doubt screams louder than faith some days. Because what God's about to do through you is so dangerous to darkness that the enemy threw everything at you to keep you stuck. But here's the truth that's gonna wreck you. Your rescue isn't coming. Your rescue is here. It's been here this whole time, waiting, watching, ready, and it's waiting on your answer. Heaven is waiting. Angels are standing by with orders they can't execute until you say yes. Heaven is watching the cloud of witnesses, the elders, the hosts of glory holding their breath for your decision. Heaven is ready. The provision is ready. The healing is ready. The breakthrough is ready. The new identity is ready. The purpose is ready. Everything you've been praying for, crying for, bleeding for, it's been ready. The only thing missing? Your yes. So I'm going to ask you again, and this time I need you to feel the weight of it. Will you let God rescue you? Will you walk away from the old life that's been sucking the marrow out of your bones? Will you stop playing small when God made you a giant? Will you stop letting age define you when God's about to rejuvenate your spirit, your body, your mind? Will you stop believing the lie that you missed your chance when God's saying, your chance is right now? Deuteronomy 30:19 says, I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life. God's not making the choice for you. He's giving you the power to decide. And beloved, this is the moment. This is the crossroads. This is the rescue. Will you step into the life written for you before the foundation of the world? Because I gotta tell you, if you walk away from this moment, if you close this video and go back to sleep, you'll survive. You'll make it through. But you'll spend the rest of your days wondering what could have been. Wondering what would have happened if you'd just trusted God one more time. Wondering why that fire inside you never went out, no matter how hard you tried to ignore it. But if you say yes, if you choose rescue, if you let God pull you out of the pit and into your purpose, everything changes. And I mean everything. Heaven is waiting. Heaven is watching. Heaven is ready. The question is, are you? If you're choosing God's rescue right now, if you're done with the old life and ready for the new, I need you to do something. Say it out loud where you're sitting. I choose rescue. Or type it in the comments. I choose rescue. Because when you speak it, when you declare it, something shifts in the spirit realm. Angels move, demons flee, doors unlock, and God says, finally, let's go. This is your moment, chosen one. Don't let it pass. You think you've been walking this road alone. You think nobody saw the nights you cried yourself to sleep. Nobody witnessed the moments you almost gave up. Nobody recorded the prayers you whispered in the car, in the shower, in the spaces between your breaking heart and your last ounce of faith. But let me tell you what's been happening in realms you cannot see. While you were fighting battles down here, struggling to pay bills, nursing a broken body, mourning relationships that died, watching your children walk away from God, there was a war being waged over your name in the courts of heaven. And chosen one, you need to understand something that's going to change everything. Your name has been spoken in the presence of the Almighty, not whispered, not mentioned in passing, spoken, declared, argued over. The Bible says in Daniel 10:13 that spiritual battles rage over the prayers of God's people. For 21 days Daniel prayed, and heaven seemed silent. But the angel finally came and said, "From the first day you set your heart to understand, your words were heard." 21 days of warfare, 21 days of demons blocking the answer. But heaven never stopped fighting. That's what's been happening over your life. When you thought you were standing alone in that hospital room, angels stood on your behalf. When you thought nobody cared that you lost everything, heavenly witnesses recorded every tear. When the enemy whispered that God had forgotten you, there were warriors in the spirit dispatching reinforcements you couldn't see. But here's where it gets intense. The accuser, that ancient serpent, that liar, that killer of dreams, he's been in that courtroom too. Revelation 12:10 calls him the accuser of our brethren, who accused them before our God day and night. And he's been building a case against you. Every mistake you made, every sin you committed, every time you failed, fell, doubted, cursed God's name in your pain, he documented it. He stood before the throne and said, This one doesn't deserve rescue. Look at their track record. Look at their failures. Strike their name from the book." And for a moment, just a moment, it seemed like he had a point. But something happened. Something heaven wants you to know right now. God didn't look at your resume. He looked at your heart. He didn't weigh your perfection. He weighed your persistence. And when the accuser demanded your disqualification, the blood of Jesus, the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world, overruled every charge. The courtroom went silent. Because here's the truth they don't want you to know. You were never on trial for being perfect. You were on trial for being willing. And the moment you said yes, even through tears, even through doubt, even through the wreckage of your life, heaven overruled every attack against your destiny. Proverbs 24:16 says, "For a righteous man falls 7 times and rises again." You fell. God knows you fell, but you got back up, and every time you rose, battered, bruised, humiliated, angels took notes. They recorded your resilience. They documented your refusal to quit, and those records became evidence in your favor. You think God rescued Daniel from the lion's den because Daniel never sinned? You think he pulled Peter out of prison because Peter never denied him? You think he restored Job because Job never questioned him? No. He rescued them because when hell came for their names, they held on to his. And right now, this very second, your name is being defended. The Father is looking at the accuser and saying, "This one is mine. I paid for them. I prepared them. I chose them. And no weapon formed against them shall prosper." Isaiah 54:17. Write that down. But here's the crossroads. Heaven is waiting for your response, because God will fight for you, but he will not force you. He's opened the door. He's dispatched the angels. He's silenced the accuser. But you have to walk through. The rescue is not automatic. It's activated. And that's why you're hearing this message right now. Because heaven knew that at this exact moment in your life, when you're tired, when you're desperate, when you're questioning everything, you would need to hear that your name is not just written in the book of life. It's being spoken in the throne room. It's on the lips of the Most High. And he's about to do something so sudden, so supernatural, so undeniable, that everyone who counted you out will have to watch heaven vindicate you in real time. The battle for your name is almost over. But the rescue requires your voice. If you believe, I mean truly believe, that your name is known in heaven, that God has not forgotten you, that this message found you because heaven orchestrated it, type, "My name is written in the comments right now." Let the enemy know you're still standing. Let heaven know you're ready, because what God's about to reveal next will confirm why the enemy fought so hard to keep you from hearing this. Now I need you to stop running for just a moment. Stop rehearsing the regrets. Stop replaying the failures. Stop counting the years like they're evidence against you. Because right now, in this sacred space between heaven and earth, I want you to do something that's going to change everything. I want you to look inward, not with shame, not with judgment, but with the eyes of God Himself. If the Almighty held a mirror to your soul right now, not to condemn you, but to reveal you, what would you see? I'll tell you what most of you see. You see wrinkles where there used to be dreams. You see missed opportunities where there should have been miracles. You see a life half-lived, a calling half-answered, a purpose that slipped through your fingers while you were busy surviving. And here's the tragedy: that mirror you've been staring into. It's been cracked, distorted, held up by the enemy's hand, not God's. Every wound you've carried created a lie about who you are. Every betrayal warped the reflection. Every loss convinced you that you're running out of time, running out of chances, running out of God's patience. Let me ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly in the quiet of your heart. Did I live the right life? Did I fail God when it mattered most? Have I wasted my years chasing shadows while the real calling was waiting somewhere I never looked? These questions, they don't just visit you at night. They live in you. They've built a home in your chest. And every birthday, every funeral, every grandchild that looks at you like you're already a relic of the past, it hammers the same nail deeper. You're too late. But chosen one, that voice is not from heaven. Listen to me closely. The spirit of regret is not the Holy Spirit. The voice that says, "You've run out of time," is not the voice of the God who created time itself. The accuser who whispers, "Failed, finished, forgotten," is the same serpent that's been lying since Eden. And right here, right now, we're breaking that curse off your life. You are not late. Say it with me in your spirit: I am not late. You are not lost. Feel that truth rise up: I am not lost. You are not forgotten. Let it sink into your bones: I am not forgotten. God doesn't measure your life the way you do. You're counting backward from the grave. He's counting forward from the resurrection. You see endings. He sees beginnings that haven't even been named yet. In Psalm 92:14, the word says, "They will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green, not used to bear fruit, not once bore fruit, will still." Present tense, active, alive, anointed. Moses was 80 when God called him to the greatest assignment of his life. Abraham was 100 when the promise showed up in flesh and blood. Anna was 84 when she prophesied over the Messiah in the temple. You think God's done with you? You think your age disqualifies you? Hell wants you to believe that. Because if the enemy can convince you that your best years are behind you, he can steal the years that were always meant to be your most dangerous. But here's what that prophetic mirror is showing you now, something you've never seen before. God doesn't just see who you were. He sees who you still are becoming. Every tear you cried in secret wasn't wasted. It was worship that soaked the soil for a harvest you're about to walk into. Every year you thought you lost, God was using it to refine you, rebuild you, reposition you for a move so powerful that it required this exact amount of fire to forge you for it. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared. And the reflection staring back at you right now isn't a broken old saint limping toward the finish line. It's a warrior who's been through hell and came out holding the keys. It's a voice the enemy tried to silence because he knew what you'd sound like once you finally started speaking. 2 Corinthians 4:16 says, "Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. Your body may be aging, but your anointing is increasing. Your strength may be fading, but your authority is multiplying." What you see in the natural is not what heaven sees in the spirit. And God is about to prove it in a way that shocks everyone who wrote you off. The mirror shows one more thing, one final revelation that's going to wreck you and rebuild you at the same time. You weren't chosen because you were perfect. You were chosen because you were willing to endure, willing to believe when belief made no sense, willing to keep praying when the silence was deafening, willing to stay faithful when faithfulness looked like foolishness. And that willingness, that stubborn, beaten down, scarred up faith, that's what caught heaven's attention. So before we move forward, I need you to settle this in your spirit once and for all. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. The detours weren't mistakes. The delays weren't denials. The deserts weren't destinations. They were training grounds. And graduation day just arrived. Now the question is, are you ready to see what God's been building in you all along? You know what breaks my heart? When I see people who've walked with God for decades, faithful, pure-hearted warriors, suddenly start believing the lie that their story is over, that the best chapters are behind them, that God's moved on to younger, shinier vessels. Let me tell you something heaven just revealed to me about you. Your story wasn't ended. It was paused. There's a difference. When a story ends, the book closes, the lights go out. But when a story is paused, it means the author is about to write something so unexpected, so powerful, that he needed you to sit in the silence first. He needed you to feel the weight of what's coming. Because what God's about to release into your life isn't a gentle rain, it's a flood. Right now, in the courts of heaven, there's a book with your name embossed in gold on the cover. Angels have been standing guard over it, and for months, maybe years, that book has been closed, sealed, while you've been down here wondering if God forgot his pen. But here's what the enemy didn't want you to know. God doesn't retire his chosen ones, he resurrects them. Listen to what Isaiah 43:19 says. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? Did you catch that? God said now, not someday, not when you're younger, not when you're more qualified. Now, in your 60 seconds, in your 70 seconds, even if you're 80 years old reading this and your body aches and your friends are gone and your mirror shows a stranger, heaven just turned your page. And what God wrote on it is going to shock you. Because while you were crying yourself to sleep thinking you missed your moment, God was drafting the most dangerous, anointed, world-shaking chapter of your entire existence. The kind of chapter that makes demons tremble, the kind that makes hell call emergency meetings. You think you're too old? Sarah laughed at 90 and gave birth to nations. Moses was 80, hiding in a desert, when God said, now you're ready to split seas. Abraham was 75 when God told him to leave everything and become the father of faith. Caleb was 85 when he said, give me this mountain, and he took it by force. Your age isn't your disqualification, it's your authorization. Because here's what young people don't have: scars that turned into altars, betrayals that became wisdom, wilderness seasons that forged unshakable faith. You've been through hell and still whispered God's name in the dark. That's not weakness. That's the anointing of endurance. And heaven's been waiting for you to realize that everything you survived wasn't random, it was preparation. God didn't let you go through all that pain just to put you on a shelf. He's about to use every tear you cried as fuel for the fire he's igniting in your spirit. Every closed door, it was protecting you from a counterfeit. Every betrayal, it was removing people who couldn't handle where you're going. Every moment you felt invisible, God was hiding you like he hid David in caves before making him king. Your new chapter doesn't begin with retirement. It begins with resurrection. And I need you to hear this in your spirit. The same God who raised Lazarus after 4 days in a tomb when everyone said it was too late. When the smell of death filled the air, that same God is standing over your life right now, saying, "Come forth." You thought your dreams were dead. God saying they were just sleeping. You thought your purpose expired. God saying it was being refined. You thought your time was up. God saying, "I'm just getting started with you." Ecclesiastes 3:11 tells us, "He hath made everything beautiful in his time," not your time, his time. And his timing is always connected to maximum impact. That's why he waited. That's why the delay felt unbearable. Because what's about to be released through you is so precisely orchestrated, so strategically aligned with heaven's calendar, that one day early would have been too soon, and one day late would have been too late. But right now, you're standing in the Kairos moment, the fullness of time, the divine intersection where your pain meets God's purpose and creates a supernatural explosion. Here's what's written on your new page. A mandate, not a suggestion, not a wish. A direct assignment from the throne room with your name on it. An assignment so specific that hell has already started panicking. Because when a seasoned warrior who's been through fire finally steps into their true calling, they don't just walk into the promised land, they conquer it. Your next chapter isn't about what you've lost, it's about what you're about to recover. The years the locusts ate, Joel 2:25 says God's about to restore them. The dreams you buried, God's about to resurrect them with interest. The voice you silenced because nobody listened, God's about to amplify it until nations hear. But here's the part that's going to test you. This new chapter requires you to move. God turned the page, but you have to read it. You have to step into it. You have to stop living like your story ended and start walking like your greatest chapter just opened. So, let me ask you directly. Are you ready to stop mourning what was and start stepping into what's coming? Are you ready to let God shock you with what He's about to do through you? Are you ready to turn the page? If something in your spirit just woke up, if you feel that ancient fire starting to burn again, type, "I turn the page" in the comments right now. Let heaven know you're ready. Let the enemy know his time tormenting you just expired. Because, beloved, your story isn't over. It's about to get biblical. Here's what most people don't understand about divine rescue. It's not a one-time event. It's a series of decisions. Every rescue brings another moment of choice, another crossroads, another test to see if you're really ready for what you've been crying out for. You think God's just gonna drop the blessing in your lap and walk away? No. He's testing your obedience in real time. And right now, another 21-minute window just opened over your life. Listen closely. You've got 21 minutes to break the pattern that's been destroying you for years. 21 minutes to forgive the person whose name makes your stomach turn. 21 minutes to choose obedience over comfort, over fear, over that voice in your head that says, "It's too late. I'm too old. I've messed up too much." And here's where it gets wild. Science backs this up. Neuroscientists have proven that your brain can rewire itself in approximately 20 minutes of focused intention. 20 minutes. That's how long it takes for new neural pathways to begin forming, for old addictions to start losing their grip, for trauma patterns to break. But heaven doesn't operate on science alone. God adds one extra minute, the grace minute. That's where the supernatural meets the natural. That's where your willpower ends and His power takes over. 20 minutes of human effort plus 1 minute of divine intervention equals total transformation. You've been stuck in the same cycle for how long now? 5 years? 10? 20? Waking up with the same regrets, the same bitterness, the same fear eating you alive from the inside. You pray about it. You cry about it. But nothing changes because you keep choosing the familiar pain over the unknown blessing. God's asking you right now, are you gonna break it or are you gonna die with it? Because here's the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud. Some people pray for deliverance but secretly love their chains. They've been angry so long, anger feels like identity. They've been lonely so long, loneliness feels like home. And the thought of actually being free, that's terrifying. Because freedom means responsibility. Freedom means you can't blame your past anymore. The Israelites had this same problem. Exodus 16:3. They're 3 days out of Egypt, 3 days free from slavery, and they're already complaining. If only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt. There we sat around pots filled with meat and ate all the food we wanted. You see that? They preferred familiar bondage over uncertain freedom. They romanticized their trauma. And some of you are doing the exact same thing right now. You're 3 days from your breakthrough, and you're looking back at Egypt talking about, well, at least I knew what to expect back there. God saying, I didn't rescue you so you could keep sleeping in the graveyard. And there is one decision heaven is asking you to make before this second window closes. One choice that will determine whether you step into the next chapter or repeat the last one for another decade. The question is this: will you let God reassign you? Because, and hear me clearly on this, God is not only rescuing you, He is reassigning you. You thought this was just about getting out of your situation. No, this is about stepping into your assignment. The reason you've been through hell is because hell was terrified of what you'd become if you ever figured out who you really are. You are not a victim. You are not a mistake. You are not too old, too broken, too late. You are a weapon that heaven has been sharpening in the fire, and the enemy has spent years trying to convince you that the pain was punishment when it was actually preparation. Isaiah 61:3 says, God gives us a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. But notice, He doesn't just remove the ashes, He gives you a crown. He doesn't just stop the mourning, He gives you oil of joy. He doesn't just heal the despair, He gives you a garment of praise. That's not rescue language, that's royalty language. That's reassignment language. You've been walking around in rags thinking you were disqualified, when heaven's been tailoring a royal robe with your measurements. You've been hiding in the shadows thinking you were forgotten when you were actually being positioned. God didn't save you so you could just survive. He saved you so you could serve, so you could turn around and pull somebody else out of the pit you just climbed out of, so you could stand in the gap for the person who's 3 steps behind you, thinking they'll never make it. That's your reassignment. That's why the enemy fought you so hard. Because your freedom was never just about you. It was about the 1,000 people behind you who are watching to see if escape is even possible. So I'm asking you again, will you accept the reassignment? Will you stop clinging to the old identity, the victim, the forgotten one, the too far gone, and pick up the mantle heaven's been holding for you? Because the clock is still ticking, and the next decision you make in the next few minutes will echo into eternity. What are you gonna choose? Now I need to tell you something that's going to shift everything you thought about getting older. You thought your best years were behind you. You thought God was done using you. You thought retirement meant stepping back from the battlefield, but heaven sees it completely different. Listen closely, elders carry mantles younger believers cannot hold. You know why? Because a mantle isn't given to the untested. It's not handed to someone who's never bled, never buried dreams, never stood at a graveside wondering why God let it happen. The weight of spiritual authority requires shoulders that have been broken and rebuilt by the hand of God Himself. You've survived loved ones who should still be here. You've raised families through wars, recessions, heartbreak, and hell itself. You've tithed when the bills were due. You've prayed in hospital rooms at 3 a.m. You've kept faith through decades when everyone around you fell away. You didn't quit when the miracle didn't show up. You didn't curse God when the diagnosis came. You didn't abandon your post when it would have been easier to walk away. That wasn't weakness. That was warfare. Silent, invisible, brutal warfare that nobody applauds because they can't see the demons you've been fighting in the dark. And now, right now, heaven is about to honor every single battle scar. Because what's coming isn't just your rescue, it's your coronation. God is positioning you as a spiritual anchor for people who don't even know they need you yet. There are younger believers drowning in confusion, ready to quit, ready to walk away from their callings, and they're waiting for an elder who's been through the fire and came out with their faith intact. You are becoming that elder. The prophet Isaiah said it like this: "Even to your old age and gray hairs I am he. I am he who will sustain you. I have made you, and I will carry you. I will sustain you, and I will rescue you." Isaiah 46:4. Did you catch that? God doesn't retire you. He rescues you, so he can use you at a level you've never operated before. Moses was 80 when God called him to lead a nation out of slavery. Abraham was 100 when the promise finally showed up. Caleb was 85 when he said, "Give me this mountain, not a rocking chair, not a vacation, but a mountain to conquer." Age wasn't their disqualification, it was their credential. And here's what hell doesn't want you to realize. Your rescue is not only for you, it's for someone connected to your destiny. There's a grandchild, a neighbor, a stranger in the grocery store who's about to encounter the presence of God through you. But you've got to step into this. You've got to accept the mantle. Because right now, the enemy is whispering lies. He's telling you you're too old, too tired, too broken, too late. He's replaying your failures on a loop, reminding you of every prayer that didn't get answered the way you wanted. He's showing you younger people who seem more anointed, more favored, more blessed. But that's a demonic distraction. God has been training you in the wilderness for 40 years, because what he's about to release requires the kind of faith that only comes from endurance. You can't fake spiritual maturity. You can't shortcut it. You earn it through decades of showing up when nobody's watching, trusting when it makes no sense, and standing when everyone else sits down. The Apostle Paul understood this. In 2 Timothy 4-7, at the end of his life, he didn't say, "I wish I'd started earlier." He said, "I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith." He knew the finish line held more glory than the starting line ever could. You are stepping into the role of a spiritual elder, one heaven trusts, not one heaven is experimenting with, not one heaven is testing to see if you'll hold up, but one heaven has already vetted through fire, loss, waiting, and warfare. And now the assignment is being released. This rescue coming for you? It's not just financial. It's not just physical healing. It's a mantle of spiritual authority that will make demons tremble when you walk into a room. It's a level of discernment where you'll sense things in the spirit before they manifest in the natural. It's a voice that carries weight because it's been purified through suffering. And here's the urgency you need to feel right now. Mantles have expiration dates on the offer. When heaven extends this kind of invitation, it doesn't stay on the table forever. There is a 21-minute window, a prophetic moment where you either step into it or it passes to someone else who will. God is not begging you, he's offering you. And if you hesitate, if you let fear or doubt or the lies of the enemy convince you that you're disqualified, someone else will carry the mantle that had your name on it. But I don't believe that's your story. I believe you didn't survive everything you survived just to fade into the background now. I believe the best chapter of your life is about to be written. I believe the rescue is already in motion. And I believe you're about to see the faithfulness of God in a way that will make up for every delay, every disappointment, every dark night you thought he forgot about you. So here's my question. Are you ready to carry this mantle? Are you ready to step into the authority heaven is handing you? Are you ready to be the elder that a younger generation desperately needs? Are you ready to let God vindicate every year you spent in obscurity? If you are, if something in your spirit just stood up and said, yes, type I receive it in the comments right now. Let heaven know you're accepting the assignment. Let the enemy know his time is up. Let your destiny know you're finally ready. Because what's about to happen next is going to require every ounce of faith you've built over a lifetime, and the rescue you've been praying for. It's about to collide with the purpose you were born to fulfill. So, let me leave you with this. You are not forgotten, you are not too late, and you are not alone. Everything I've shared with you today, the 21-minute window, the mantle of the elder, the rescue order filed in heaven with your name on it, it's all real, and it's all happening right now. God has been working behind the scenes of your life, even when you couldn't see it, even when it felt like silence, even when you wondered if he'd moved on without you. He hasn't. He's been preparing you, positioning you, and now he's about to prove that every tear you cried, every prayer you whispered in the dark, every moment you almost gave up but didn't, it all mattered, every single second of it. But I need you to ask yourself this question before you close this page. Am I going to step into what God is offering me, or am I going to let fear keep me in the same place for another year? Because the choice is yours, the door is open, the rescue is here, but you've got to walk through it. Now, I want to pray with you, and I want you to receive this with your whole heart. Father God, I stand in agreement right now with every person hearing my voice. I speak directly to the chosen ones who've been waiting, who've been hurting, who've been questioning if you still remember them. Lord, place your hand on their shoulder right now. Let them feel your presence in a way they haven't felt in years. Breathe life back into dead dreams, resurrect hopes they buried, open doors they thought were closed forever. Release the rescue, the healing, the breakthrough, the provision, the vindication they've been praying for. Let this be their moment. Let this be their season. Silence every lie of the enemy. Break every chain of doubt and fear, and let them walk forward in the authority and the mantle you've been preparing them to carry. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Listen, you are part of a community now. You're not walking this road alone. If this message touched you, drop a comment below. Tell me what you're believing God for. Ask your questions. Share your testimony. Because when you do, you're not just encouraging yourself, you're lifting someone else who's reading and thinking, I thought I was the only one. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, someone who's been fighting in silence, someone who's about to give up, share this video with them. Be the answer to their prayer today. Remind them they are seen, they are loved, and their rescue is closer than they think. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting me with your time, your attention, and your faith. If this content has blessed you, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you never miss a message. Because what God is releasing next is going to shake you even more. You are chosen, you are covered, and you are about to see the hand of God move in your life like never before. Now go walk in that truth.